Welcome to Dadmode, a podcast that is the triforce of gaming, streaming, and dad life in general. So going off last week, we talked about how we were managing time balancing, parenting, gaming, content creation and stuff, and it had me thinking, what's some of the things that you have or you use, like tools, to make that easier? Because we didn't really break that into that. And I was thinking, we both, even inside this podcast, we use a lot of tools to manage our time and make it way easier for us.
Yeah. We do. It's I gotta say, it's been impressive the amount of tools that we're finding to make this easier for us, which is important, especially since we're also managing the time zone difference, which is not trivial. We have to be very careful, when we schedule things. But for me in particular, they're definitely, I try to make reuse as much content as I can for multiple purposes, because that makes it easier.
When I use this, we're both recording this now.
Yep, we're both recording this. So video, absolutely. So take this podcast for example. We're both recording it, and then we assemble that for a final video. But so right there, we have a video which could go to YouTube or whatever, a full size, 1920 by 1080 video. We can take the audio and have that be a podcast. We can take clips and we can turn that into short form video. And if we really wanted to, because we can also generate the text of this podcast, we could probably, with some editing, turn it into a blog if we wanted to. So there's a lot of things you could. There's a lot of things you can do with just one recording by using the right tools. And so, for me, I guess my short answer is just reuse.
Yeah. Well, I think going back and looking at streaming and that, there's been lots of tools, and there's an abundance of different sites that all do similar things for kind of the similar thing. But some people do it a little bit better than others. It's been I use Streamladder for ages. That was my go-to to do all my gaming clips and my Twitch clips with Streamladder. From that, I didn't quite get exactly what I wanted. And I'd still use it for gaming clips. But yeah. I then created templates inside my Adobe Premiere. So when I drop a clip in, I can just drop my clip and then put a couple of filters. It's just drop and drag straight on top of each other. And it automatically moves the video to this section. Okay, cool. I need to crop that section, put that there. I need to crop this section, put that there. It'll auto-generate the text and put it in there. And then, there's still my hands on for it, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But, we've come up with this podcast was Opus. That's a changer for me. It does. I know it won't work for gaming, but holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah,
AI.
It is amazing. It is amazing, right? So to give people a little insight, so we have show ideas, which we get the benefit from AI giving us some suggestions on what kind of things to talk about. Maybe sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. And then we use, like you said, Opus to use to rip clips out and format them, because we create a template of what we want it to look like. We mimic the template we had kind of come up with, and we apply that. And it switches between, full screen and split screen.
It goes through finds a little bit inside the clip. It gives you a title. It gives you a little synopsis about what the clip's about, and then you can edit that. You can fine tune that. It's not perfect where it hits the clips, so you can start and now you can take out the middle.
Yep.
But AI, I think, has been a massive game change in terms of content creation. If you got to be smart in using it. If you're not using it to a degree, you're letting yourself down in many ways.
Right. And as a side note, if the creators of Opus are listening, feel free to sponsor the show.
True.
Absolutely.
It's now my favorite. It's now my favorite actual thing. I actually really enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, even doing the logo was AI to a degree.
Yeah.
I had an idea. Right. I put that into Adobe and I needed assets inside Adobe. So I was just, okay, cool. Using it's called content awareness, but you type in the words to type in what you need. So I needed a microphone. Cool. This section here, I want a microphone. Cool. And it would put it in. Saves me getting on the internet, scrolling through Google to find the picture that I want, add it to Photoshop, mask around the outside, cut the part that I want, put it back into the thing. If I could do that in less than a fraction of the time, that's more time for me to go spend elsewhere.
Yeah. And the merch ideas that will lead to are endless. So just saying.
We did that with earlier days with Canva even. You use Canva. Yeah. Canva was a great tool to come up with content with merch ideas. You could go through. It wasn't combination. I found use ChatGPT to give you the idea of what context should be on your merch or whatever. Then you went to Canva to find a template. So you'd find a template that kind of matched what chat would say. Then you put that text on that shirt, put it together. Yeah. There's your merch. It's AI is that friend that you can brainstorm with whenever you want.
Yep. So we're talking a lot about AI in terms of how it helps, and we talk about show ideas, but think about this too. If you're, say, a just chatting streamer, you need something to talk about every time. Why not use something like a ChatGPT or a Google Bard to give you some ideas on some things to talk about? Because if you're streaming for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, if you have a guest or not, you need things to talk about. You got to keep it fresh, keep it going. So using a tool like that to give you some ideas on what to say is great. Or ask it for, hey, what are some fun things I can do with the community? Things like that will definitely help. And then as much as you can make your process efficient, like let's say that if you're using a Stream Deck, okay, there's an app on there like Window Sizer or something like that, where you hit it and it will open up your apps and move them to where they're supposed to be. That saves you a lot of time and helps you not forget things that you would normally do.
That used to be, I did a TikTok on it. Similar. Ages ago on my Stream Deck, I had using not Windows Resizer, but it had profile switches on my Stream Deck and I forget what the word is. Virtual desktops. So I had a virtual desktop for work and a virtual desktop for gaming. So on my Stream Deck, I could switch from one to the other, and my Stream Decks would change to my Outlook and my webpage links and Excel links and all that stuff. And then if I was done with working, I'd press the button. That stuff would all go off the screen, and then I'd go back to my gaming, and I'd have my Wave software and my Twitch commands and my OBS links and all that instead. Like I know the one you're talking about, multi-stepping it. It's worth setting it up. You got a Stream Deck, or you can do it with Touch Portal and the alternatives now. But it's it's definitely setting up a multi-command that just launches all the things in one hit. You can take it further. If you've got nano lights or like smart LEDs, you can link your smart lighting into that command too. So it'll turn on your lights as well as open up your streaming software and put it where you want. I think I've got one of the things here. These things.
So Lumia Stream is awesome. He's showing a smart plug.
You set that into your studio.
Yep. I use another way to automate things to make things easier is I use Mix It Up a lot, which ties in with something like a Lumia Stream. And I've had it before where I will record things that happen in chat if I'm streaming on Twitch. If I'm running a giveaway or something like that, that helps keep things there. Or I will set up timers in Mix It Up to show things on screen so I don't have to think about it. Like you set them up ahead of time and then you have automation kind of remind you or do them for you down the road. Because like that's the thing, like the reason we're going over this is because there's a lot of things that are going on in our lives, a lot of things that go on in your lives, and the more you can do to make things harder to forget and mess up by doing AI or automation, the better you are, the more prepared you're going to come off looking, far more organized than you probably actually are in real life.
It just gives you that time back where you need time. more importantly, instead of no, one of the things that got me into video editing, and I know you can do it with DaVinci. I don't know quite the steps, but in Adobe, they have, and some of these things will be paid to get. I understand that, but there's a reason. Time versus money, as I always say in my work life. I don't care if it's going to cost money because time is more important to me. So I'll spend that little bit of money to save on time. But they have text-based editing. So when I load up my clip inside Premiere, it will pull me out a script of every word that's in there. And then I can just treat it like a Word document and quickly highlight everything that I need to delete. Add where I copy and paste sections. You can cut sections, paste it at the start. I wouldn't at first I didn't think so, but text-based editing made long-form content way more manageable in my eyes.
Yeah. With Opus, you could do that too. Like,
yes,
I messed around with it the other day. Like, you highlight a word, like edit things you don't want to say, and it just removes that part of the video.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
You can even do the middle sections now. That was the update that we.
Yes,
that was Friday. Friday's update was you can do the middle in that. But
yeah,
all those little things gave me more time. Like I didn't do long form content because I didn't have the time or the tools or no ways to make it easier. Like when I did start, I could manage to do one video, and that video took me like a week to edit because I didn't really know editing too well. I didn't know any shortcuts. And it was hard for me to actually understand why I should be making long form content because this is way worse than me just turning on the camera, hitting live on Streamlabs. I'm on Twitch for 3 hours. Like, it's that balancing act. And yeah, as I said, Eyes on Gaming even got easier with presets and templates where I managed to get upload, word based, text based editing, quickly trim out the parts that I needed to, like the repeats, etc.
Yeah.
I had a tool at one stage where I'd actually do whenever I'd stuff up into my mic because it'd actually pick up in the audio line along the bottom. So I could quickly look at the timeline on Premiere Pro and then see these two peaks really quick to each other and go, cool, I can cut from there back. That's
cool.
That's a stuff up in between two, just little things like that was faster than me having to scrub through a video to find the points that I needed. Was adding these little cues along the way.
Yeah, that's smart. I'm wondering when somebody's going to make a tool that will not just like clip editing, but like edit your long form. Like notice where there's parts that aren't relevant or dead space or whatever. I know you can always remove dead space, but you know what I mean, like some kind of like rudimentary long form editing thing. Because then think about it, let's say you're just chatting or a gaming streamer. You stream, you get your 3 hour clip, you have it edited, it gives you that rough cut, it spits out some clips, and then without you having to do anything.
There are some cool tools now, AI tools for game. It's sadly gaming content creation isn't as automated as you'd hope. Not like Opus. You could probably put the game in. I don't know what it's going to give you, to be honest, because it's not going to analyze the content that's on the game to know what's a good point, what's a bad point, what's dead, what's not. It's going to be more focused on what you're saying. But there are a couple of tools out there that will skim particular games. Not every game, it's just particular games. Your main ones like your Apex, your Fortnite. It'll pull out, the kills, the headshots, the victory royales, etc., and then you get clips from that. But I'm hopeful towards the days of AIs coming in and helping out in that type of gaming space, being able to help edit that, because that storyboarding and knowing that idea of how to tell a story with a video game clip, especially if you're just playing something like Fortnite, it's a bit hard, I guess, to understand what that pace is.
Yep. Yeah. And that'd be something we could talk about some other time too. But telling a story, like how important that is in your video clips, no matter how short it is, you still want to have that like beginning, middle, and payoff with a good hook. I don't care if it's a 10-second video, you can still storyboard it.
Yeah, so, you can. You can storyboard everything, but it's that's I said. Sadly, when it comes to AI, you don't really got AI too much to hang out unless you're playing some of the really big games, you Call of Duty, Fortnite,
Yeah.
PUBG, probably Apex. That's probably where
Right.
you're limited to using AI. Other than that, you need to know your pace on that. And I've tried doing Let's Plays. I can't. Personally, I haven't figured out how to do a
No.
Let's Play properly yet because I'm like, do I need to include all of it? Can I just fucking cut out everything? Try,
Right.
you know, it's hard to do a Let's Play. I've attempted it 3 times now.
So there's a YouTuber I like, the Rad. He does Let's Play. He's been doing it for a decade. He shows in everything, unless he's struggling on a boss for too long, and then he'll just cut to him beating it. But he'll show him going through his inventory, everything. It works for him. I don't think it. I don't, but I agree. I don't know if it works for everybody. You know, because I'll spend 3 hours in my inventory just organizing stuff and making a list of the resources I need to go find. And you know,
I tried doing Half-Life VR. And I got a few in, but it was a lot of trimming where I had to. Oh, I'm not gonna show the stream of me just walking down the street, not shooting anything, and just stopping and looking at random things because that just seemed like 5 minutes of wasted content.
Yeah, like I've been playing Starfield now since the day just before it came out.
Haven't loaded it yet,
and I've recorded probably all but 4 hours of my playtime, and the only reason I didn't record those 4 hours is because I forgot I wasn't recording. But so I have, you know, a good 50 plus hours, I imagine at this point, of my recordings, and I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I was about to ask, you know, I was gonna make playthroughs. I was gonna make, like, you know, clips like Damn Daniel does, but now I have so much footage. I'm like, it's overwhelming, the idea of going back through it, and AI won't help me with that because it's a brand new game.
No, and I know something that I used to do for me when I was streaming games and I wanted content out of the games, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. You not so much because you didn't do that many games for ages before talking. Was markers. I set up markers on my stream deck. So as I'm doing, instead of doing a clip, I would press the key and just mark parts in the video as I was going through. So then I could go back and bring up the timeline inside Twitch and see where all the key points were in that game that I wanted to use as a clip later on. I don't know who told me that. But whoever it was, they were a genius because it wasn't you.
I've told that to some people. I don't know if I told it to you.
No, it was another. I don't know who it was. It was someone else that told me it, and I was like, "That is just a brilliant idea. Just makes it easier. Markers instead of clip."
In fact, when you were doing the thumb snap, the snap a minute ago, I was like, "Yeah, would you could use a marker?" I was thinking you could use a marker for that, but that's a very visual way to do it if you're not doing it through Twitch.
Well, that's if you're not doing it through Twitch, that's me recording. Like I am now, I'm recording my camera and my audio. And if I was doing Eyes on Gaming and I go, you know, Bethesda, and then I'd stuff up the second word, it might take me 4 or 5 attempts to get this tongue tied because you do that when you're doing use. For some reason, when you're doing news articles, you get so tongue tied saying that you have your script here, everything's ready to go, and you're still tongue tied even though you're reading it. So that's the point of that, was just to scrub out the retakes of everything.
Yeah, that reminds me of a couple more tips. And I know one of them, you'll be able to give some insight into. So I used to record a video of whatever, and I would just record until I'm done, until I've said everything I need to say. And then you go back through when you're cutting it, you're doing any jump cuts, all that stuff. That's what takes a long time in editing usually. So I came up with a way, it works for me, where I think of the next sentence or two that I want to say, but whatever it is, a complete thought, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll look at the camera direct, because I used to have a problem with eye contact too, and just kind of looking all around, which isn't engaging for you. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get into. Or I'm gonna let you get into that. Is I'll say that thought and I'll hold that pose. I had a shortcut key on the Stream Deck where I don't have to look at it. I can just hit it. I'll think of the next thought. I'll hit record again, and I'll say it. So when I clump them all together, it's smooth. It looks like there's no jump cuts, and there's no editing to do at that point. It's freaking smooth. But like I said, my problem was looking at the camera, and that was the best way I could think of to do it. But they did come up with a tool that I know Bearded Nova's used before.
I used it for some of Elevated's clips when we were talking about. What do you do? That was
branding.
branding, maybe? No, it was how far I could use AI to do something.
Oh, yeah.
I used AI to create a whole brand from start to, how I used to create AI and everything. But how I have my screen, I have a big screen here, tiny screen up the top, which that's usually recording, and then I have a screen on my right, which is in vertical. And when I was doing the elevated clips, because there was a lot of content that I'd never done before, more talking head, etc., I had a full script vertically done on my right monitor, camera's slightly off center. NVIDIA brought out fake eyes, basically eye tracking, so it would make it look like your eyes were always looking at the camera, even if they were slightly off screen. So I would have my script running on the right hand side, just sit there reading it, so I wasn't even looking into the camera, but my eyes were focused on it the whole way, and you couldn't tell. The good chunk of it, you couldn't tell that I'd used AI to do.
You couldn't.
Oh, that's what it was. I got AI to do a talking head. That was the clip. Because I got AI to generate the script, AI to edit the clip, the whole video, long form. That I forget what Wiser it was. I had AI edit the video, and then I used AI to choose audio for it and AI to do the eye thing. So yeah, I was 100% AI. Only thing I had to do was hit record. That's what the video was.
And by the way, if we ever turn this episode into a video,
it'll be by
that's your B-roll, B-roll of that video. Should be that video.
Opus is bringing in B-roll soon.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, automated B-roll. Automated B-roll. There's some really cool stuff coming with
it. Well, that's awesome, because there was a couple clips I was editing today where I'm like, I can think of a scene from a movie that I want to put in right there.
Yeah.
But you can't do B-roll. I mean, you can, like, if we downloaded it and then threw it to DaVinci, or in your case, Premiere.
Yeah. No, there's I'm gonna bring it up now. Just some of the things that were coming soon that got me pretty excited. AI generated B-roll, filter words, more AI related access, caption styles, and the ability. Manual clip trimmer. They've got that already. But the ability to schedule and post to your outside platform. That's the part I was looking forward to.
Yeah, that's cool. So we also use, or I also have used Repurpose.io for that.
I put you on for that ages ago then.
Yeah, which can go from anywhere to anywhere.
Yes.
So like we use to communicate all of the stuff for this podcast, we use Google Drive. So right now, all our clips are in Google Drive. I could create up a connection and a workflow with Repurpose to go from our Google Drive right to TikTok if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And Repurpose also schedules. So like everything is about efficiency, right?
And you're efficient at work. You're efficient at work. You're efficient at home. Like, you have your routines of doing how I do the washing, how I make a bed, how I do my dinner. I'm not going to cook this or cook that because that's time saving. Why can't you do it in content creation?
Exactly. So if you're thinking of doing streaming or gaming, content creation, podcast, whatever it is, and you're like, I just don't know how I have the time, we're here to tell you that you do have the time. You just need to think about the process that you're going to need to go through. Like honestly, write it all down, storyboard it, and then look at the fact that there's probably some kind of automation or AI you can use for most of those steps to make this so much easier for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll finish it off with thinking about this podcast. There's four types of recordings now we've done for this. We did probably a month's worth of planning before anything got started. There was just brainstorming in Discord backwards and forwards, planning on how it would work, how does it look, what do we need to make it happen and make it easy for ourselves. And that's still evolving as it goes, but it's in a lot better place than, if we jumped into it 4 weeks ago, this wouldn't be the way it is. I'd say that. It'd be a shitstorm and a mess.
It absolutely would. So the planning was critical, like you said. The fact that we've had both have experience doing podcasts has helped us understand what works and what doesn't. And then it's us both being very excited about the AI stuff and knowing how to make life easier. And being dads and full-time jobs and all that stuff, we know we have a lot of experience knowing that we have a very short time frame to do anything we want to get done. So it's all that kind of came together, and that's why this works. Hey, thanks for tuning into the podcast today. If you like it, be sure to share it, leave comments, and we'll catch you next time on the Dadmode.